Hello, class, and welcome to Unit 2.3. This is our quick overview of the worksheet. Let's get started. So this week, we will be discussing apostrophes, and they essentially do about three things. One is they can show possession. Two, quote inside of a quote. So we know that quotation marks are the two. Well, if you quote somebody talking, then it becomes a one inside of there. We're going to see an example of that. The other one is for contractions. We take two words and we mush them together and we make a contraction. So let's begin. Exercise 1, you're going to add the apostrophe that shows the possession. It's going to be really simple, obviously. If you have Grammarly or any kind of spell checker up, it's going to spot most of them. But the idea is pretty simple. Sarah's new shoes are orange. This is my example. Sarah's new shoes. I need an apostrophe S. The apostrophe shows possession, whereas just an S shows it to be plural. Well, Sarah's not plural. She's not two people. What she's done here is owned a pair of shoes. And so Sarah's new shoes, the apostrophe goes for that S. So we're adding in the apostrophe for those 6 examples there. This next one, I only have a couple of examples because it really doesn't pop up a ton. And it's tough to keep making the same example over and over. So we're going to do it pretty quickly here. The example is, actually this is to show possession. The example is, my wife said, or not show possession, it's to show a quote within a quote. Okay. My wife said, you always say no. And so here she is quoting me. All right. So I'm quoting her, quoting me. This is how this works. So when I quote her, big ones. And when she says what I say, little one. It's going to make a triple. You're going to notice after no, it has 3 of the little things because I have my apostrophe followed by the quotation mark. So there's only 2 of the examples of those. Find out where the person is talking within the quote and then surround it by single apostrophes. Same goes for number 2 there. All right. Lastly, contractions. It's really easy. Do not becomes don't. Right? Have not becomes haven't. And it ends with an apostrophe T. And so you're just going to go down here and write in like it is becomes, and you're going to type in the word. The reason why we're learning this is because APA style does not allow contractions. You have to stop using contractions in APA style. So therefore, our application of concepts assignment here actually doesn't have an assignment this week. Well, it does. It doesn't have an assignment that you fill out here. You leave this part blank because I'm going to look at your rough draft that you submit for WRIT 101. And if it's free of contractions, then you get full credit. All 35 points here. A good way to check that you have no contractions in your rough draft is to go Control F, which brings up a little dialog box like this Find in Document, and you type in apostrophe T. And it's going to show you every place where apostrophe T shows up. It shows up for don't, and it shows up for apostrophe T, which is my directions for you. I have no other contractions in here. Once I finish out, exercise 3, there'd be a few more. And then you just want to split those back out. So whatever ones you have in your rough draft, if you have can't, make it cannot. If you have won't, right, make it will not, etc. And that's how you get credit for that. And then finally, we have hindsight bias. It's chapter 4, and you are not so smart. And this says, oh, I knew that was going to happen. Monday morning quarterbacks, like that's an example of hindsight bias. And it's simply where something has happened, and then you say, oh, I knew that was going to happen. And it's a form of bias, and it's really rife in the financial world, especially people who kind of like gamble, play stock markets, watch trends, right? They are constantly, oh, I should have known that, or oh, I did know that, right? Well, maybe they didn't, because if they did know it, they probably would have invested in it. But they never say it for when things go wrong. Well, sometimes you do, right? But mostly when things go right. And so I want you to maybe show some examples of hindsight bias that you've seen. Maybe find, if you've seen it in others, you can show that too. Or what might people who are at the whim of trends, experience in why might people who are at the whims of trends experience this a lot, not what. So why might financial people be more prone to this, right? What's going on in their life that makes them susceptible to this? And then how might this cognitive bias negatively affect people? So affect you, affect other people. Why is this a bad thing to have in your life? Finally, just do a little bit of research. It's pretty easy here. Google research on how to avoid hindsight bias. Put in a tip on how you can avoid hindsight bias in your life. So that's it for this week. So you're going to do the reading journal. The application to concepts is simply not having contractions in your rough draft for WRIT 101. And then these 3 exercises for the 3 types of apostrophe usage. Thank you. Have a great day.